Sorry about that. Now I'm very upset. There we go. Okay.
We're good. Anything I have to do? Okay, cool. Yeah, like you said, David Scott with Demented Tales. Steve, thanks for putting this together. Seven Sons, appreciate it. And is that better? All right. Good. So, Demented Tales by David Scott. The first reading I'm going to read is called The Stag. From the moment the deer entered the field, Paul could see the growth on its antlers. The stag was enormous, and with the rack, he was over 8 feet tall. The growth was a result of rubbing his antlers on the contaminated red pine. Sap bled, and when it contacted the calcified bone, the ashen color ignited the bloodstream, causing a visual, stunning image that could be spotted from miles away. Paul froze. He knew the danger that accompanied such a deal. The fucking deer was huge, and the antlers, what was with the antlers? In his tree stand, Paul remained quiet. He had been there for over 5 hours. He had urinated off the stand. The pungent aroma wafted almost 100 feet away, where he was sure the deer could smell the chemo medication in it. The stag lifted his huge head, and even in the waning winter sun, sighted the man in the tree. Crouching to almost the full bow, the deer slowly backed up, antlers grazing the grass. His nostrils flared, and he came flying like a thoroughbred around the clubhouse turn towards the wire. Magnificent in size and stature, the incredible speed of the huge animal veering toward Paul caused him to instinctively pull upright and step back. As a result, he hit the trunk of the tree with enough force to expel. The putrid waft of soiled pants hit his own nostril. The chemo had caused a ruptured asshole, literally, and it no longer held his entrails. Seepage from the engorged behind spilled down the tree. The last image Paul saw was the stag moving slowly and silently, blending into the trees and disappearing, such as a fart into the wind. However, Paul did not possess that ability anymore. The second story is called Tainted. The second day of the week was the Taco Tuesday. Every 2 weeks, friends gathered. It was usually a joyous, loud affair played into the night. A pair of 4 to 5 couples typically attended. The women drew from a random sample email on Doomsday, Monday, where they were given duties: cooking, cleaning, alcohol purchasing, food purchasing, and finally ambiance. On a dreary, rainy, muggy summer night, this mattered most. See, Raymond was trying to overdo it like always. Serena needed to be pampered and the center of attention. As a result, Raymond knew his cooking had to be beyond scrumptious. At the dinner, beer and wine, as well as some tequila shots, were consumed. Considering the weather, mood was jolly. The gas grill had to be taken into the garage where there was not enough circulation of air. Flank steak, chicken, ribs, and grilled vegetables were getting their dark marks of carcinogens. Within the depths, where the bone separates from the muscle membrane, was the issue. The white fat clumps expounded from the bone prompted Raymond to flip them. He missed the glaring parasites. Billy and the wives started with the salad while they gathered around the table. Taking their seats next to each other, jokes and digs flew until Kimberly froze mid-bite. Hands sloppy from barbecue ribs, the corners of her mouth turned into a frown. She kept spiraling, eyes wide as she glared around at all who had assembled. She spat out the food in a heap. It landed with a dull plop near the center of the table. Everyone looked between her and the bone, glistening with a mixture of saliva and the remains of the barbecue sauce. Squirming beneath the half-eaten flesh, multiple maggots writhed. Kimberly vomited all over the lime green taco and burrito covered tablecloth. Almost everyone else joined. Raymond kept apologizing, but to no avail. Finally, he confessed as to the source of the half-off ribs and that they were out of date. After that fateful night, the couples did not allow Raymond to return. Serena blamed him for her girlfriend's lack of continued event invites and strained relationships. Raymond, who had a great job, was the ultimate cheapskate. 50-cent ribs per pound at the local farmer's market was a horrid idea, especially as it was in a cooler all day without much ice, just submerged in melted, tepid water. The farmer got there at 6 a.m. Raymond did not purchase the meat until 3:30. Do the math. I have two more movies. Ruby Red Bird Feeder. Jasmine peered through the window, holding the steaming cup of coffee, watching the snow settle lightly on the chopped wood at the back of the property. Noting the frost on the windowsill, she set down the mug on the ledge and undid her robe, only to retie it in a futile effort to warm up and be at ease mentally to start the day. Jasmine glanced to the lower edge of the glass as the frost dissipated from the steam of the hot coffee. The bird finger dangled, twisted ruby red, near the back sliding door. She thought it might be a cardinal, but her breath hitched as she blinked. There was a squirrel's head atop the feeder, beady little eyes fixed, shoulders raw, while it was skinned up to the bushy tail that swayed in the breeze. A sparse scattering of root burgundy at the base of the pole was visible as she tried to look away. Jasmine then noticed a figure at the end of the meadow. It was Richard. He was smiling, dressed in flannel for hunting. She shuddered and brought a trembling hand to her mouth to muffle the scream. Jasmine felt something graze against her calf and jumped, losing her footing, and fell. Did the damn dog pee on me? As her eyes focused, she saw the white, broken mug lying next to her, a trail of steaming coffee pooling along the tiled floor's grout and heading toward her. She had to get up and move quickly. Richard was going to fuck with her again. Hoping to automatically start the car, Jasmine searched for the keys within her purse. Last time he got to her, she was not so lucky. On that drunken night 3 years ago, Richard had carved a gash into her right thigh. To this day, it was still visible when she wore short skirts. Suddenly, she heard him shouting, and Jasmine ran as fast as she could to the driveway. She knew he was trudging through the knee-high snow, so it would hopefully slow him down. With a small mechanical beep, she unlocked the car and yanked open the door. The red flannel loomed against the white snow as Richard carried his prized shotgun over his right shoulder. He trekked through the snow with ease, moving toward his target with his cold stare. He slowly moved the gun from his shoulder to aim, and then he fired. Jasmine looked away as smoke spouted from the barrel. She winced and waited, but nothing else happened. That was a warning shot, he screamed. Turn off the damn car. Without hesitation, Jasmine shifted the car into reverse and immediately pushed the accelerator pedal all the way to the floor. Jasmine rolled down the window, brisk air hitting her face. It helped her from breaking down as she drove to the sheriff's department. Billy was waiting. I got a text, he said plainly, hands on his hips. Richard's brother was a tall, thin man in his 40s. He donned a large, bushy mustache from cheek to cheek. Come inside. That's no attire for my brother's wife. She looked down. A cold winter had made her shiver. They went inside, with her black slippers tracking in some snow. Billy did not need to escort her. Interview room 1 had one metal table and 2 uncomfortable steel chairs. She took a seat. I'll go get some paperwork. Would you like some hot coffee or tea? No, she said. It was a good while later when Billy reappeared. He had another man with him. Her eyes met him. The new man had a round face that matched his pudgy figure, while unkempt hair and a beard that was patchy did not scream professionalism. My name is Peter. I'll be helping you through this ordeal. Please tell me what happened. She glanced at his badge, Mental Health Services. He pulled out a notepad, and she noticed a small white pillow in his open briefcase. Strange. Tell me about the experience, Peter said, kind eyes. Jasmine swallowed, past her tears. The son of a bitch was in his flannel again, at the edge of my property. He had a shotgun. He was coming to mess with me. Why won't it ever fucking end? Take a deep breath, Jasmine. I will not. Jasmine, the sheriffs have already been to your house. There are no signs of footprints in the snow or any evidence Richard was there. When was the last time you saw him? Today, this morning, when he shot at me. There is a skinned squirrel hanging from my bird feeder. Rage and anger took over Jasmine's face, with the vein in her forehead popping out. Peter took a moment, adjusting in his seat, and said quietly, "Have you taken your meds?" "They are not important. You need to help me and lock this asshole up." "Jasmine, when you don't take your lithium, this is what happens. Your reality and memories of your dead ex-husband surface. Please, we picked up your medication from your home." He nodded toward Billy. Billy retrieved a pill bottle from his pocket and placed it on the table. Jasmine took a shuddering breath, meeting Billy's brown eyes. "It's okay, darling. Richard is gone and will never come back." She choked on a sob. Billy reminded her so much of Richard. "He's dead? I shot my brother in the head after I caught him doing that to your right leg." She tugged her robe aside, taking in the scar. Suddenly, everything went black. She fell forward. Peter caught her head, using the pillow in his briefcase atop the table in front of her. "How often will this happen?" asked Billy. Peter responded, "This will be a long journey." She's still trying to process it. And two more stories, two quick ones. Pain. The boat glided through the water gently until it reached the middle of the lake. Michelle and Ryan turned to each other and looked up at the stars in the humid summer sky. Michelle shuddered as a huge clap and boom of thunder shook the air. While the rain fell, they laughed about being stuck in the storm. "No imagination needed," Michelle whispered provocatively. Her white bikini and cover-up were soaked, displaying the contours of her body. Ryan could not keep his eyes off the outline of her. "Second base, here I come," he joked. Michelle's blue eyes twinkled. She felt a craving for him, though it could have been the moonshine in the mason jar that they had packed for the midnight boat ride. They had been playfully bantering back and forth for 2 weeks after mutual friends introduced them. Michelle was just about to move forward for the first kiss in the swaying boat when a bolt of lightning struck. In slow motion, the body before Michelle changed. Ryan's pursed lips clenched, his brown wavy hair was singed, his body convulsed, and he passed out, smacking his neck on the side of the boat with a dull thwack. She shook him repeatedly, saying, "Wake up!" A stain spread on his bathing suit, while yellow liquid pooled on the floor. He was not breathing. With extreme difficulty, she moved his body onto the bench of the rowboat. Their first kiss was mouth to mouth. And the last one is called Santa, since the season's coming up.
I think it's hilarious having Disney things behind you while you read this, so I'm not going to change it.
That's awesome.
Can't see that much of
the agent
it.
said, "Put her down. We know who you are, who you really are, Francisco." The man stared back at the two agents with the government logo emblazoned on their jackets. "She feels too good on my lap, and I know after her heat leaves, I will never feel it again." Santa rocked the small child from knee to knee. "Melanie, I'm here," the frantic mother said in a hoarse voice and wild eyes. "Nothing's going to happen." Melanie looked at her mom, unable to figure out what was going on, but started to tear up. "It'll be okay, sweetheart," said the gruff older man with concern in his smooth tone. "Just stay here and be safe with Santa." Francisco stared deeply into Melanie's eyes. "Santa will always be part of your life, not just during the holidays," he said with a wink. "I want you to remember." The shot echoed down the mall's hall. Santa was hit in the right shoulder, causing him to stagger off the holiday throne, and Melanie fell from his lap with a dull thud. In a feeble attempt to bring her in for a snuggle, Santa grabbed at the girl, even as his red suit grew darker where the bullet had entered. He kissed her delicately on the cheek before passing out. Meanwhile, the mother had bolted forward. She reached Santa before the agents. Picking up her whimpering, snot-nosed daughter, she shielded Melanie with her body. Mom did not want her to see what she was going to do. Spiking the heel of her stiletto into Santa's left eyeball exemplified motherhood.
Thank you.
All right, I turned my mic down, but I'm loud. Gross, and gross. And so I think you hit it, you fit the bill. That's some Halloween horror right there. David Scott.
Woo!